Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to install Arch Linux again. Yes, I know, but this time it's gonna be different. This time we are going to simulate doing so in your own computer. I will use my virtual machine that already has Windows in it. And there's gonna be some differences compared to the last time. First, I'm not gonna stop to explain every concept, so we are gonna go faster. Second, we are gonna finish by installing a graphical desktop environment so that it looks more like an actual computer you can use every day. And third, the whole point of Windows being already there is that we are going to be making a dual boot setup here in Corbin's workshop. And we are back at my Windows virtual machine for educational purposes. So this is the same machine I used for the Bento installation video. And today we are gonna install Linux on this machine. There is a difference though. I installed a second virtual disk because I am going to show you how to achieve a dual boot setup. We're gonna have Windows and Linux at the same time. Corbin from the future making a cut here. I forgot to mention something very important. I say that I am going to do the dual boot with two different hard drives, and there is good reason for this. You can definitely install both Windows and Linux on the same hard drive. But the problem is that there is only one boot partition in a hard drive, and so both systems have to share it. And Linux can share just fine, but Windows is a piece of shit that doesn't like sharing. And I had this problem a few times, and you can probably search the internet and find reports on this, that sometimes when Windows updates, it decides to overwrite the boot partition and basically hijacks your system. It prevents you from starting Linux. So you have then to repair the boot partition, which is moderately complicated. In fact, I should have the repair process written down somewhere. And the way to solve that is to have them on separate hard drives or solid state drives or whatever you want. Therefore, each drive has its own boot partition, and Windows can overwrite its own boot partition however many times it wants, and it's not going to hurt your system. The process starts pretty much the same as with the B-Link. You have to connect your USB, and you have to spam the delete key as your computer is starting to get into the motherboard's firmware. And the firmware looks different for each manufacturer and model, so you will have to dig around a little bit to find the boot order. The point is, remember that the USB should be the first option in the boot order. Here it's going to be a little different because it's a simulated environment. I will come here and I will just move the USB up, and that should be enough. Now I need to shut down the thing entirely for this to take effect. For you, you just need to restart. Just shut down. And this is the Ventoy drive. I'm going to go full screen now. I'm going to start Arch Linux, normal mode, install medium. And we're ready. Step 1, check your drives. If you saw the last video, the part where I show the partitioning schemes from my own system, you will see something very familiar here. The SDA drive has the exact same footprint Windows left in my computer. You will see the first 100 megabytes partition is the EFI, then the 16 megabytes reserved partition, then there's the main Windows partition, and lastly that weird 500 megabyte something that Windows does. It's the same footprint. So we know that SDA is the Windows drive. Then SDC clearly says Ventoy over there. So the empty SDB drive with 40 gigabytes is our target drive. So we go straight for it, /dev/SDB. It's completely empty. So we are gonna create a new partition. Start sector is fine. Then I am going to give it 200 megabytes because this will be the EFI boot partition. The code is EF00, and the partition name is gonna be EFI, and that's it. Then we go to the free space here and create a new one. First sector is fine. By default, it tries to grab the entire space remaining, so I will just hit enter. The code is fine, it's 8300 for Linux system, and the name is gonna be Arch, and that's it. Our disk is partitioned. I'm just gonna write yes, and I'm gonna quit. Now we are going to format them. Make file system FAT-F32 dev SDB1, and I'm going to format with ext4 the second partition. Yes, do that. So that's it. They are partitioned and they are formatted. Now we are going to mount them. Mount mkdir /dev/sdb2. We need to mount the second one first into /mount. And then we are going to mount the first one into the EFI folder inside that system. And that's it. They are mounted. Next, we need to generate the file system table. We need to create the etc folder inside the system. And we are going to fstab-u mount. We check that our two partitions are detected. So we are now going to redirect to etc fstab. And the file system table is complete. Now we are going to set up the base packages for this thing, and that's backstrap-i, our mount point, base, and base devel. And it's going. Let's go with the second option this time, because I think it installs NF tables right off the bat. We check the system. That looks more like a system now. We are going to enter that root environment. Root/empty. And we are inside. So we are going to choose a text editor. When we installed on the B-Link, I chose NVim because it's my favorite. And it's a permanent system. This is virtual, it's not going to stay forever. So I'm going to show you the other editor, Nano, one that is more beginner friendly. Yes. Okay. Now I need to use the text editor to modify the package manager configuration. And you will see that on this text editor, you have the shortcuts at the bottom. That weird symbol you see is control. So Control G gives you help, Control X exits, Control O saves the file. And I will do the same changes as before. I will enable colors and I will enable the multi-lib repo here, both lines. Now Control O for saving and Control X for leaving the editor. Okay, this is done. Now I'm going to install the kernels -s Linux and its headers and Linux LTS and its headers and Linux Zen and its headers. 6 packages. Oh, it always happens. I enabled multi-lib and I didn't update the database. Now it's updated and now we can install the kernels. Option 1 is fine. Let's go. Oh, my VTubing software is acting up. Give me a second. Okay, we are back in business. It's that quickly. And this thing hasn't even finished. So, no time wasted. Okay, so now we need to install the firmware. Again, this is a collection of drivers. Yes, install everything. Okay, now comes the microcode. Ucode. There are 2 packages, one for Intel, one for AMD. Since I'm in a simulated environment, I don't know how this will interact, so I'm gonna skip this step, but you install the one that corresponds to your CPU. Now let's go for the locale. Let's see, locale gen. I need to find an US, please. Okay, here is the UTF one. Do this. I'm gonna save and exit. So with that being done, I will just run locale gen and we will install NUS UTF-8. So now I need to modify one more file, conf. This one doesn't exist. I am going to create it now. And I need to add a variable called lang. And it's going to be the thing I just installed. UTF-8. Control O, Control X. Okay, that was very simple. Now user passwords. Password to set the root password. And I'm going to add a new user, -m to create home folder, group users, and secondary group wheel. So it's an admin. And the name is going to be tester this time. And we're going to give it a password. Password tester. All right. Okay. Tester has a password now. So we need now to modify the sudoers file to give the admins the permissions. We're gonna find all. It's not this one. Near the bottom. Here it is. will all equals all. This is the line we need. And we save and exit. And that's done. And believe it or not, it's time for the bootloader. Pacman-s grub fe boot manager dos file system tools and m tools. Go. Now, this is the first difference from the previous process. Since this time we are going for a dual boot process, now we are going to install the OS prober. Yes, please. And with that, we are going to edit the etc default grub file. And at the very bottom is the line to enable the OS prober, this one. We remove the hash, save and exit, and the OS prober is enabled. Now, for the OS prober to do its job, we need to mount the FE partition of the other operating system. So we are going to do that. Mount mkdir dev sda1 was it. Let's make sure. So the Windows drive is SDA, and the first one, SDA1, is the EFI one. So mount --mkdir /dev sda1, and we're going to mount it in mount winfe, because why not? So now it's mounted. Yep. And it's time to install the bootloader. Target equals x86 64-EFI, and the bootloader ID is gonna be arch, and the EFI directory is going to be /EFI. No error reported. Everything seems to be going fine. Now group mkconfig -output. This file goes to boot group.cfg, and let's see if the OS prober is able to detect Windows. There it is, near the end. Found Windows Boot Manager on dev sda1. So it seems like it's working. Now let's install networking tools. netctl and WPA supplicant and wireless tools and network manager and open SSH. I forgot the -s. System D is correct. And our networking tools are in. We are going to enable the network manager. Okay, it's done. And if this system is gonna be accessed remotely, you would now enable SSHD. I don't want that for this system, so I am not gonna do it. But you know, that's up to you. And that's it. We can, hold on, I will unmount the Windows system that I mounted, and I'm going to exit the chroot environment, and now I am going to unmount, mount EFI, and mount, And I think we are ready to restart. Now, here's the thing. You would restart like this. But since I need to do the switching of the USB manually in my simulated environment, I am going to fully shut down. Okay. And now I am going to move SATA disk 2, that is the new disk, to the top. Your system should do this automatically. In case it doesn't, well, when your computer starts, you spam delete, you go to your boot order and make sure that the new system is at the top. I'm going to apply and let's run it. And here it is. This is our menu, exactly the same we had in the B-Link, but you will notice that we have Windows here now. How cool is that? It worked perfectly fine. Or well, so I think. Let's see if it actually works. Let's boot from Windows. And there it is. It's alive. But we are working on our Linux system, so we are gonna restart. Yes, restart. Again, same as before, we have go straight into Linux here, or advanced, we can choose any of our kernels. I will start with the default one. And this is our Linux system. It's already working. My user was tester, my password, and we are in. So what now? Let me check if we have NF tables. Yeah, that option I changed. It installed NF tables, so we don't have to install it again. That's fine. Port. Okay, so let's check first that we have the basic config. Okay, there it is. Oh, it seems we installed NF tables. Let me see if it didn't actually enable it already. Sudo nft list rule set. Okay, no, we don't have a rule set, so we now need to load the file /etc/ nf tables, and let's check the rule set, and our firewall is enabled. Oh, I didn't want to exit, just clear the screen. So the firewall is set. Now it's time for swap space, and we talked about swap space that time. I am not. You know what? This is a temporary file. I suppose we can do it just to show you how it's done. So we need to decide on a path for our swap file. I think I'm gonna create something at root. Remember, all administrative actions require sudo now. So sudo mkdir swap. We are gonna enter swap, and we are going to create a swap file here. So we're going to use the dd command, which is a really cool command that I like a lot. Basically, it writes stuff into drives and files. Stuff because you can make copies from drives to drives or into images, that sort of thing. But there are also more um, stranger things you can do with it. For example, right now, the input file is going to be a special device called 0, and the output file is going to be /swap/swap file. I'm going to just call it swap file. And the block size is going to be 1 megabyte, and the count is going to be 4,000. So what does this do? The dev0 device is a device that writes zeros. It's all it does. So we're going to create a file called swap file that is going to be filled with zeros, and the size is going to be 4,000 megabytes or 4 gigabytes. So let's go. Okay, 4.2 gigabytes. Close enough. Now we need to give permissions to this file, proper permissions. /swap file. Permissions are given. Now we are going to turn it into actual swap space for to be used at swap file. And it's swap space now. Now we need to register it on the file system table so that it loads when the computer starts. And before we do any further modifications to the file system table, maybe it would be a good idea to make a copy just in case it gets destroyed. Sudo copy etc fstab to etc fstab old. .old. So now we have a backup in case something goes wrong. So now echo /swap file is the path. Now I don't remember the exact meaning of all these formula. I did it a long time ago. So just go with it. And I will append it to the fstab file. Now, if you saw the previous video, you know that this is output redirection, and make sure it's double arrow to append it at the end. If you put just one, it's gonna overwrite the entire file. It's gonna be a mess. We have a backup, but be careful anyways. Can we do this is the question. Oh, permission denied. So, okay, let's just go and do it manually. Why not? Okay, so here we can add a comment that says swap file, just because why not? And we are going to do /swap file known swap sw. I think this is it. Control O. Oh, permission denied. Sorry about that. Save. No, please. What happened here is that I forgot that I needed sudo. That's the whole problem. So we're gonna write again. First path /swap file and it's gonna be non-swap SW00. And now we can save. And that's it. Our swap is enabled and it should... Oh, hold on. Sudo swap on / all. Oh, because it's already on. Never mind. So that's our swap enabled. Now let's go with the final touches. Let's set a time zone. Time date CTL. Set time zone. And for me, it's Mexico General. I needed my password. Okay, so I forgot to show this in the previous one. I was going too fast. And what I wanted to show you is that you can do time date CTL list time zones, I think. Yeah, and you can see all the valid time zones and find yours. Okay, so sudo time date CTL. Let's set local RTC to 0. Well, it depends. We use Windows in this device, so let's set local RTC to 1. Yeah, the thing is that Windows loves using local time. So your Linux is gonna have to use local time here. It works better with UTC, but that's the price of dual booting. However, I haven't really seen any actual problems coming from this, so don't worry about it. Now, I was forgetting up until this point that I did not set a host name for the computer. This host name CTL host name, and it's gonna be virtual, just virtual. I mean, whatever. So let's exit. Okay, virtual login. Tester, test pass, and it's updated. That's great. So what now? Oh, let's update the hosts file. Same as before, we are going to add a new one that is going to be 011, and it's going to be virtual because that's the name of our host. And again, I forgot the sudo. Whoa. Okay. So 7011 virtual. Control O, Control X, and that's done. And now we are gonna install some useful tools just as before. I'm gonna install btup, lf. Links we are not gonna need this time. And git. -s, sorry. So that's our tools. Let's try btup. that's it. And we can see that we have swap now in disks, and that means we have swap space in this build, unlike the previous one. And that's it. Now we need to install the AUR helper now. We're going to make a source there, this source, and we're going to clone it like we did that time. That time we checked the internet for the instructions, but now I'm going to save the effort. I have it written down here, slash jbean.git, and it's cloned. We go inside and we make package.si. And the AUR helper should be working now. Let's try finding Brave. And there it is. It's working. So this is where the previous guide ended, but we are going further this time because this is a proper uh, full system for a daily use. So we are going to install a desktop environment now, and my favorite is Plasma. There's a variety of desktop environments. There's GNOME, there's XFCE. I really don't see the point of bothering with any of those. Frankly, I don't like the philosophy of the GNOME developers, and XFCE is kind of meh. So I just go with Plasma. Plasma is the one that the Steam Deck uses. It's great. It's gonna give you a good experience. Now, depending on your graphics card, here you would install a collection of drivers. I'm not gonna do that here because this is a simulated environment again, but these collections of drivers are going to be in the instructions file that you can download in the description. So, okay, that's for you to do. I will go straight to the Plasma installation. Pacman S Plasma. Yes, install all of them, please. From FFmpeg is good. And we are gonna choose Pipewire Jack. GNU font, and let's install everything. Okay, it's done. Now we are going to enable the session manager. Oh, oh, my bad. Sudo systemctl enable sddm. Okay. And we are going to install the X11 session. It's difficult to explain right now for beginners, but there is a concept in Linux about graphics servers, and there are two. It's Wayland and X11. There is a huge push right now to turn everything into Wayland because Wayland is the newest one, but Wayland doesn't work well for everything yet. Uh, if you are a regular user doing regular user things, it's probably gonna be fine. Uh, Plasma comes with Wayland by default, but me as a VTuber, I have found a couple of issues that are non-negotiable for me. So I always use X11. It's up to you which you want, but you should have both in case anything happens. So X11 session. There is no harm in having both. So now let's see a few basic applications that we are gonna need before we go into our system. We're gonna need a file explorer. Here's the deal. Let's check, for example, Dolphin. Dolphin is the default explorer for Plasma. And the thing is that when you install Plasma, it comes completely empty. Absolutely empty. So you can choose to install the whole set of KDE applications. You can see there where in the Dolphin line, it has in blue a couple of names. Those are groups of packages. So I can just install KDE applications, and it's going to install the whole suite of applications for Plasma, and you will have an environment ready to be used. This is a very beginner friendly approach. But the other approach is installing only the things you need. So I'm going to install Dolphin because it's a file manager. It's something basic that we need all the time. I forgot to use sudo. And there we go. We have Dolphin now. What else? We're gonna need a program to compress. Oh, I'm gonna leave this one for later. We're gonna need a terminal. The default terminal for Plasma is called console, but my favorite terminal right now is Western. So I'm gonna install that one. And we have a terminal now. And I think that with this, we can go into Plasma and sort out the rest. So say goodbye to the text environment because we are not gonna see it again. Shut down that R now. And while it restarts, I'm gonna fiddle again with my VTubing software. Hold on a second, I just clicking something so it doesn't auto choose. So it waits for me because this is an important moment. Okay, I am back. I am really sorry for the inconvenience. So we are going to start Arch Linux. And voila, we have a graphic interface now. Here we are. Welcome. You can read some tips here, give you the rundown of everything. So you have your network manager here, you have your USB devices. It's very similar to Windows, very similar to Windows. But like I said, it's very bare bones right now because I didn't install the applications package. And this is the Dolphin browser that I installed. And It comes with this Discover program that is like a GUI to install programs. Oh, it takes a while to load. Okay, so you want Firefox, you want VLC, you want Telegram, GIMP. All of it is around here somewhere. You can search Brave, for example, and you can, bam, install Brave. But I still suggest to use the traditional approach. I don't see it around here, but Western, let's pin to the task manager. Western is my terminal. And this is very familiar, just like we left it. Oh, and Plasma creates a bunch of folders in your home location, just like Windows does. So, what do we need now? Pacman-S arc is a good one. It's a program to manage compressed archives, zip files, 7 zip files, and all that. Huh, a problem with fonts. Well, we will install fonts later. Leave me alone. Okay, oh my god. What's your problem now? Okay, so Arc is installed, and now using the AUR that I showed you earlier, we're going to install the Brave web browser. None, none, just go for it. And that's it, we have Brave installed. We can search it and we can pin it to the task manager. And here we go. Let's check YouTube, for example. Okay, and let's go for please host back bionic action. Can you hear this? I don't remember if. Oh, yeah, I have it. So, we are really done. From here, the world is your oyster. Just let's check, for example, I want Discord installed. Oh, there's Discord, it's in the main packages. So I will just do sudo Discord. And internet Discord. Yes. Oh, it's updating, of course. Why are you loading the page? Is this normal procedure? I don't remember how Discord works. Well, never mind. The point is that Discord is here. I'm not gonna log in right now because I don't see the point. But for example, what else do you want? You want Steam? Keep forgetting the sudo part. Oh, okay. Now we are forced to install the drivers, and I'm not sure about this because Vulkan Virt.io. That's for virtual machine. Probably. Let's go with that one. Yes, the same. Yeah, I didn't want to mess with drivers because of the simulated environment, but that seems to be the option. So as you can see, installing programs is not really that hard. You don't even have to go into the web, search for the files, dodge sketchy links. You just type it and wait. And there's Steam. Updating too, of course. Hey, it even plays the icon on the desktop. And that's it. Really. We have a dual boot setup with Windows and Linux with graphical pretty interface. I know it looks kinda ugly right now and it's 4:3 aspect ratio, but that's surely because of the drivers I mentioned you. This is the first time I do an experiment like this on a virtual environment. In your computer, if you install your drivers as the instruction file says, you're gonna be completely fine. Don't even worry about that. Oh, let's see, in fact, if we can do something about it right now. So, resolution. Oh, there we are. Never mind. That looks a lot better. Hey, this is Corbin from the future. Making a cut here because I forgot to talk about some very important topics. The first one is how do you update your system? Of course. Let me see. It seems like here Plasma gives you this shop application that I showed you earlier, and it has an updates section that you can use to update your applications, I guess. But I have never used this. The way to really update all the packages in your system is to go to your terminal and, like I showed you in the B-Link video, you type pacman-syu. Uh, Never forget the sudo. And we are going to do this. I keep having the font problem. And it will tell us what packages need updating. All of this. So you just press Y. And that's it. You are up to date. Now, Arch being a rolling release, it generally has updates every day. But don't feel pressure to update every single day. In fact, you should exercise some caution. I truly recommend you to go to the Arch Linux page before running an update and read the latest news. just here a few, see if there is anything important that you need to know before executing an update. It's rare, but it has happened to me 2 times in my 5 years that I have needed to do some manual intervention somewhere, maybe change the configuration somewhere, and it's going to tell you here. So don't worry too much about it. Just keep track of the news from time to time. The other piece of advice that I wanted to give you is the Arch Wiki. The Arch Wiki has information on pretty much every package, every procedure, lots of things. Even it has an installation guide here. It's one of the best wikis ever, and in fact, regardless of what distro you are using, you are probably gonna find useful information in the Arch Wiki. So always keep it in mind. The next thing I wanted to talk about is customization. If you think Plasma looks ugly, don't really worry too much about it. Plasma is incredibly customizable. Colors, themes, location of everything. Even the welcome screen that is kind of basic right now, you can change that. So it's just a matter of you taking the time to really making it your own. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the graphic servers. I want to log out for that. I told you about the difference between Wayland and X11, and we installed both during the process. And I wanted to show you that it's right here in the top left. And it's as simple as choosing one of them. We were using Wayland right now. I will just choose X11 and log in. And we are now using X11. Whoa, even the resolution was reset. So display configuration. However, these settings should be saved for each one of those settings. So here we are. And you are in X11. So if you ever had problems with Wayland or X11, you can just switch like that. It's easy. Let's see if we can get rid of that annoying font warning. What I mean is this: when I try to do sudo anything, I get a font problem here. All right. So the first step to debug this, let's try to open Plasma's default console, which is console, and let's see if it happens here. And it doesn't happen. So it's like I thought. This is a problem very specific to Western, because Western likes to use some fancy fonts. And the thing about that is that when I installed Western in my own computer, I didn't have this problem because I had been using the system for close to 5 years. It's very recently that I started using that terminal. Here we are on a brand new system, so we don't have a lot of things yet. And apparently it needs fancy fonts, very likely from the nerd family. So let's search for those. I think TTF nerd is something like that. So yeah, we don't have them. Let's try to install the last package then. pacman-s. And now we are in a fancy environment. We can copy and paste. So let's try with this one. Yes, please. Let's see if it installed any other packages. Yeah, it installed common as well. All right, let's exit. Let's load again and let's see if it happens. And it doesn't happen anymore. See, it's that padlock icon. that couldn't be loaded. And it's that simple. We needed a few fonts. And that's it. Now, for real, this is the end of the video. I hope it's useful to you. I hope it wasn't too tedious, and I hope to really get you interested in the technology. In the next episode, I am going to install Arch Linux in a virtual machine again, but it's gonna be using the instant formula that is EndeavourOS. The easy, quick, simple way to have Arch in your computer. And after that, we are going to tackle the Raspberry. So, thank you for watching, and see you next time.